Lifetime's intimate portrait of Belinda Carlisle. It was 1981, and Belinda Carlisle had been living hand to mouth, struggling for 3 years to get the Go-Go's signed to a record deal. Finally, a fledgling label decided to take a risk on the all-girl group. It was a music industry first, and a dream come true for Belinda.
I was elated. I was extremely excited about it. You know, it was about time, as far as I was concerned.
In July 1981, the Go-Go's released their first album, Beauty and the Beat. The band's first official single, Our Lips Are Sealed, helped push the album to #1, where it stayed for 6 weeks and hit multi-platinum status. It was a rock and roll first for an all-female band. It rocketed the Go-Go's to stardom, and Belinda didn't miss a beat.
Since we were rock stars, you know, we took advantage of behaving like rock stars.
I know Belinda has a reputation of being like, you know, Miss Fancy Pants, but Belinda can throw down with the best of us. She is a wild child.
Belinda's already wild ways just got wilder. She took full advantage of the perks that came with stardom. Belinda was now living the ultimate sex, drugs, and rock and roll lifestyle.
The rule was, if there was a mattress dragged out into the hallway from the bedroom, that meant that the person in the bedroom was having sex, and the other person couldn't go in, and they had to sleep on the mattress in the hallway.
Belinda's boyfriends were all over the map. It would be, you know, a rock star or a baseball player, or, you know, when the Olympics came to Los Angeles, the big joke was, you know, what country are you representing tonight?
We used to scare the crap out of a lot of boys.
Belinda's newfound fame brought newfound friends and free drugs.
John Belushi became a big fan of the band, and he really liked Belinda. One of them told me, Ginger, they have Coke in these like huge vials. They had John Belushi as a teacher for how to like abuse drugs, and I think it gave him a lesson in like how to do it right, how to do it big time.
So it was like either you were partying or you weren't. You were sober, and if you were sober, we probably didn't know you.
At this point, Belinda's drug use was just casual.
It was more about like having a laugh and being mischievous and having a good time. When it came right down to it, we were doing the same thing as guys would do. And it's like, what's the big deal, really? You know, we're famous and, you know, we're getting rich and we're taking advantage of it.
In July 1982, Belinda and the Go-Go's success would continue with the release of their second album, Vacation. It went gold, and the single with the same name was a top 10 hit.
It was an all-girl operation. We didn't want any guys around. It was like a girls' club.
It was us against the world.
But Belinda's world was about to be shaken. While in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, on tour for the second album, she would be paid a visit by an unexpected fan, Harold Carlisle, the father who had abandoned her nearly 20 years before.
We were in the tour bus, and I remember she saw him from the window, and I just this look of terror, not terror, but just like horror.
I didn't really know what to make of it, and it felt uncomfortable.
Does this man want back into her life because she's now famous and wealthy, or does this man really have an interest to reconnect with his daughter?
Harold had come after recognizing a photo of a little girl used in a Go-Go's promotion. It was the Belinda he had left behind. But this time, Belinda would leave her father waiting. She left the concert before he could see her.
My father could have gotten in touch with me through the years, and I think I always sort of had a problem with that when he finally did make contact.
I think all those old emotions came up, and she thought, no, hell no. I'm not forgiving you. I'm not letting you back in my life.
She turned her father away that night, forever. By the end of 1982, the Go-Go's were more popular than ever, Belinda emerging as the most popular one of all.
There was a quality, a shining quality, and she had star quality.
That thing that stars and divas have, that's Belinda.
She was the charismatic one.
Because in the same way that Deborah Harry was Blondie, Belinda was the Go-Go's.
When she took the stage, she was the focal point, and I think that she commanded that spot and she held it well. She was made for the limelight.
But unbeknownst to anyone, the limelight was already becoming too much for Belinda to bear.
There's a lot of pressure that comes with that, which I didn't realize at the time.
To cope with the pressure, Belinda was increasingly turning to drugs. But drugs would soon turn on Belinda. Up next, Belinda meets her soulmate and is given a life or death ultimatum.
If I had a choice, I could have a life with someone that I had fallen in love with, or I could continue with my drug use. And I already knew that I was killing myself.
And later, bad drugs and bad blood take their toll on the Go-Go's.
It was Charlotte and I on one side, and Kathy and Gina on the other. And we said, you know, we're dissolving the band.
You're watching Lifetime's intimate portrait of Belinda Carlisle.